Alright, B. We're here with another next convo. I know, B, you said you want to do it. We're going to do a little car chronicles today. I had some planned out for you. I'm going to ask you this.
Let's see what he got.
Big question. Next combo, this part of the pod where we used to ask our followers and everybody like what they like us to talk about. So we bringing it here individually right now. You know, we're gonna be dropping the pod next week. So y'all tune in. So B, my question to you: can a person really change, or do they just become better at hiding who they really are?
To me, I say, yeah, you could change. But you gotta want to. What I mean by want to, you gotta stop wanna really going in circles. Cause when a person don't change, they really get used to the routine, as they say. That's why a person don't change, cause they get used to a routine.
So they get complacent.
Yeah.
So they basically hiding who they really are then. Cause
Cause a routine can be who you is. You just constantly doing the same thing, so you basically turn into that, like an alcoholic. You drinking every day.
Yeah.
You gonna turn to an alcoholic. It ain't.
So basically it started like, okay, I'm gonna have one beer for dinner. Another next day I got another beer for dinner. Now, at lunch I may want to get a beer. Yeah. So now you just every day
constantly doing it. Then next thing you know, you an alcoholic. Yeah. You been doing it for 10 years. So now, yeah, you an alcoholic.
So the fact of the matter is, like, so you saying, but okay, now they became alcoholic, they got in their routine, but can they change? Can they stop being alcoholic?
Yes. So know what you're gonna do. Next time you at dinner, get you a cup of water. Start drinking water.
But we can't put in the fact of let's not put in the fact of alcoholic, because then now you have developed a habit or a problem. I'm just speaking of like can just in the matter of, can someone just change who they are? Like, I mean, like somebody been this way for their whole life, or they thought this way their whole life. Is there any way that they mentality can change too? Like they can change their way of thinking? Like, can a person really just change, or they just get, like you said, get comfortable or being in their routine? They get complacent, and then they just stuck in their manner. This is what their character. I'm stuck in their character. I'm stuck in their mindset. Like, can that person change from that, or they just hiding who they really are? They get good at just hiding who they really are. Cause you may think they change, but how they really change? Or they just have really just hiding it and be like, okay, I know when I do this or say this, I don't want to offend nobody, so I'm not gonna really say it. But they ain't really speaking on how they really are, though. How they really feel, or how they really think. So can a person change their character? Can a person mindset change? Can a person habits change? Like, everything that make a person, their character, can they really change? Or they just, like I said, they get comfortable in a routine, or they get complacent, and they be like, okay, I'm comfortable with putting on their mask in front of the world, in front of these people, in front of my family, or in front of my boss or my coworkers. Or they can really be like, okay, I'm gonna just change and become this person who I keep playing at.
You know what? In order for you to...
So the answer is yes or no, first of all. Yes or no. Can a person change, or they just get comfortable at hiding who they are?
Me is...
Yes or no? Just yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so they can change. So explain that. How you think a person can change their character, their mindset, their habits, or who they are? Can a person really change? You said yes. So explain that in a manner of how they can change.
Let me tell you how. And you might not agree, but sometimes it could be in a way of a tragedy.
Yeah.
Or a good thing can happen. Say, like, when you got married, You had to change.
Get your finger on my face, man. Go ahead.
You had to change around who you were before you met your wife.
No, I didn't have to change who I was because she married me for who I am. But the fact of the matter, I had to not change. But, you know, when it comes to a marriage, you have to have a mutual understanding with each other. So now you're not putting on a mask or you're not doing a balancing act. You basically, I can't be an individual no more. I have to be one with my wife. So I'm not changing, I'm developing. I'm adapting. So is that really changing? I guess they did change.
It's part of
But I'm still who I am though, because she married me for who I am. And we still together, we still love each other, we still care for each other, we still one. But so what you speaking on, I guess so then.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like I said, situations can change somebody.
Yeah.
Like you said, a tragedy. Like somebody can be like, let's say, like you said, a bully or alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like you said, and then they get into a car wreck because they drunk driving. And then now, since then, now they have been not capable of driving no more due to the accident. And now they have to, but do they still think the same though? Are they still the same person? Or that, like, I understand what you're saying though. I agree with you though. Situations and accidents and trauma,
Listen, you gonna always,
they can make you change though, cause you have to adapt.
you gonna change. You gonna change in a way, but in the back of your mind, you gonna still be like.
So that means you ain't changed then, because your mindset. So in order to, I think people don't change. I think people really just adapt to situations or whatever they are presented with. Such as, like, some people, like when you at a job, some people put on their persona or this attitude or this character at a job, then come home and be a totally different person. They're not changing, they just
the environment though.
yeah, so they just adapting to the environment. So how they really change. I'm talking about, when I'm talking about change, I'm talking about a person character. Like, it's a totally different person. And they're never gonna go back to who they were. Can people really change them? You said yes. I think people just put on a persona or they just adapt to situations and stuff like that. But then again, I still agree with you in the matter of, like, people can change though. People can. I still agree with that in a sense. But I think people just learn to, like you were talking about, a routine and being complacent and too comfortable in their routine. I think people do masquerade sometimes. They don't really change who they really are. I think they.
See, I ain't gonna use myself. I know when y'all be watching these videos, y'all always.
I just speak on it like you saying some good stuff though. You saying the situation.
I'm gonna use myself. Yeah, I know.
But when you don't use yourself, because now you're getting personal, and then the whole thing. The question is, can somebody change, or do they just get comfortable or get better at hiding who they are? And you said yes, people can change, and you brought up some good points by saying like accidents, situation, trauma. They can change a person. They're true though, because their whole mindset will change.
Yeah.
Due to certain situations and circumstances. Yeah. You're right though, but. I mean, like I said, I'm on the opposite end of, I think people just put on a masquerade and they just what you call them, they just, you know, they just put on a masquerade, a mask, and they just adapt to their situation. Not adapt, I ain't gonna say adapt, but some people just really just do that though. They just really like I said, people at their jobs or a personality. They will literally be like, fake it. Being that person in front of, like, they friends, they faking, putting on, and then they come home, they a certain type of person, they different. They're not the same person they are in front of their friends. They're kind of crazy.
I don't know how to use that, because that's what they say about the preachers. Like,
They're just hypocrites. They're just being hypocrite, not representing what you saying. They're just being a hypocrite. But I'm talking about, can somebody change like they whole character? Like, they been their way since they understood who they were, since an adolescent to an adult. Then all of a sudden, they like, I'm tired of being that person. I don't want to be that person no more. Can they really change? Because I feel like they can't change due to the fact how they character may have changed, but their mindset probably ain't changed. They still got that back. They got that person in the back of their mind. You always hear sometimes like, "Don't let me bring out the old me."
Yeah.
Like, whoa, you. So you shouldn't have to say that. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to say that if you really have changed.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it really like you did. Like, you still got them old skeletons in your closet.
Right.
You shouldn't even have no skeletons. You change.
Right.
If this you, your skeleton should be gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So the question to y'all, viewers, family, friends, the world, can a person change who they really are, or they just become better at hiding who they are? Thank y'all for tuning in. Nick Convo.
Yeah.